What's going on, Adventure Family? I'm gonna do a little bit of a longer talk here. I'm charging my battery bank here at the park. Turns out last night while I was here, the little cord that I was using wasn't a good cord, and now I have a bunch of time. Anyways, let's talk about bringing a dog on a journey like I'm on. Somebody just asked me in a comment, what is my plan for Boots' feet come these summer months? And Boots for Boots is an idea, being that the pavement gets hot and it retains its heat overnight. That's something that I am thinking about. I'm not entirely sure how he'll handle it. The other suggestion I've gotten from people is like hockey sports tape. Not hockey tape for the actual stick, but like the athletic wrap tape that's self-adhesive to wrap Boots' feet in that. I do keep Vaseline for myself as well as his pads. So far along the journey, knock on wood, we have not run into any issues. One time he was limping, but I think he just stepped in a hole or a divot or something, and we rested for a couple days and he was fine. There is a ton of glass on the side of roads, mainly on the outskirts of town where people are trying to get rid of the evidence before they drive past a cop and he sees the open container. So I'm constantly looking at the ground where he's walking, more than where I'm walking. And there's times where I've just grabbed his vest and picked him up because he totally would have stepped on a, piece of glass that was pointing upwards. Otherwise, the other big concern is water. You have to be able to carry enough water for both you and your dog, depending on the distances that you're traveling, before you could fill up again. Now, I do have a couple water filtration devices, so I can stop, like when it's raining. Finally stopped this morning, but it's supposed to pick up again. But when it's raining like it has been this spring, I can always stop at little puddles and whatnot and fill up water for myself, and Boots drinks out of those puddles along the way. So Boots, what are you doing? Hey, that's a little okay. Here's a perfect example of things that you have to be aware of while you're walking around. These are just a couple push pins. But Boots was trying to roll on these, so one, getting these stuck in his back wouldn't be cool, and then two, if he got this in one of his feet, wouldn't be cool. So yeah, you always got to be paying attention to what your dog's doing out here on the road. Now, if you have a hyper dog like I do, Boots is not. Well, Boots turns a month. In a month, he turns a year old. He's a blue heeler, collie mix, 75 blue heeler, 25 collie. He's got energy for days and days and days. So being cooped up on a 6-foot rope, walking the road with me, you can tell when he's starting to lose interest and just want to go use his wheels and run around. So I'll stop at like church fields and let him run. I look for dog parks in every town that I pass through. Now, most small towns don't have a dog park, but they usually have like a giant field that you can let them run in. If you're gonna do that, make sure that your dog has good recall, that they turn around, stop chewing on the bench, that they turn around and come back to you when you are out there with them. Because they're going to be in a new place every single minute of the day, just like you are, and they're going to want to explore if they're a young dog. I don't carry any toys for him. He's a stick dog. Actually, our 15-minute walk this morning, he kept picking up a stick and bringing it to the next stick, and then he'd pick up the next stick and bring that next stick on. I call him a stick transplanter. Anyways, this is also important. This is just some tick and what is it? Tick, brown dog tick, fleas, deer ticks, and flea eggs. Prevents and controls reinfestation. I got it at Dollar General. It's a 3-pack, so I got 3 months worth of dosage for him. Boots, stop chewing on the bench. That's the other thing is, like, when you do have a dog out here on a journey like this, they're going to pick up ticks. So depending on how you and your dog sleep at night, when it was still getting chilly, like the 45-degree nights, I was still putting Boots inside my sleeping bag. But that also meant that in the morning when I woke up, I had to check myself for ticks because they would leave him and come to me. But yeah, make sure that you're checking your dog for ticks. Seed ticks are really hard to notice, to get off. That's why this is important to have and to do on your dog. And follow the instructions so it works the best. And food. Food is very important. When I first got Boots, he didn't get people food whatsoever. It was just not something that I wanted him to have. My childhood dog passed away from water around her heart, and the vet believed it was because of feeding her human food with a high sodium content. Her little dog body just could not process the sodium, and she retained water, and it suffocated her lungs and her heart. Anyways, that said, Boots does get some food, some of my food along the way, because one, I don't like wasting food. So if people buy me food and I eat most of it and I'm stuffed, he gets the rest of it. So a lot of times I'll eat before I feed him, just in case he's gonna have some of my food. I can actually make his dog food stretch a little bit longer. A bag of dog food runs between $5.50 and like $10 for a 3.5 to a 5-pound bag. So be mindful of that. It also takes up a decent amount of space in your backpack. At any given time, I'm carrying between, at least 3.5 pounds, because that's the smallest bag of dog food that you can get. 3.5 pounds of dog food to maybe 6 pounds of dog food. I have probably 3/4 of a gallon of water that I carry on me at all times. Sometimes one is flavored, sometimes one is coffee, but I always make sure that I have at least 2 liters of water that if I do need to share with Boots, he has enough to be able to rehydrate, and I also have enough to have some at that point and also at the next little break and whatnot before I get to a refill spot. Now, I'm not shy about it. If I run out of water, I will walk up to somebody's house, or if I'm passing a church and they have a water spigot on the outside, I'm going to use it. Always just be respectful about doing it, though. If somebody comes up and questions you, hey, man, I'm walking across the country with my dog right now. It's a hot day. I gotta fill my waters. I walked into one of the gas stations the other day with 3 empty water bottles, and the guy gave me a weird look. And just to make it okay, I bought like a moon pie. And he was like, "What you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, well, me and my dog are walking across the country, and it's been a hot one today, so we needed water." He was like, "Oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad you came in and filled up." So like, people are happy to help you. Especially the longer you travel, the more stories you have to be able to share with people. Each interaction that you have, depending on how, I always let people direct the conversation with their questions to me, but that allows me to pick out certain stories that I have from my journey so far, and then we end up having a good conversation. And a lot of times those turn into different kinds of blessings, like being invited over to their house and being able to spend the night there and shower, or being fed 3 meals a day while you're staying at a campground for 4 days. Those are really the important things about bringing a dog on this journey. It is stressful for them. As like, you'll find out if you choose to do something like this, that what I'm doing is not without stress. I may be free and living my dream. I'm not in the rat race anymore, but it doesn't come without stress. Boots, stop. Currently we're looking at 3 days of rain, and it's sporadic rain. I'm currently in a situation where it's like, okay, now it's sunny, but in 2 hours it's supposed to rain, and I can't walk the 19 miles that I need to get to in 2 hours. So you run into making decisions, but whatever decisions you make, commit to them. Don't make decisions on the fly and be like, I'm gonna do that, and then have to backtrack. Think about it, weigh your pros and cons, and you say, okay, yeah, I'm willing to deal with whatever happens if I do this. I never realized it before. Somebody told me that I'm stoic. I think about all of the negative possibilities from one single decision, and what decisions may need to be made after that, depending on the outcome. I'm playing chess three steps ahead with what I do. I like to say that everything I do is a calculated decision, but that doesn't mean I don't make calculated mistakes along the way. But those are things that I learned from, and I try not to do again. Or if I do them again, I know the discomfort that's going to come from making that same decision again. I know you know what I mean? Anyways, if you've gotten this far in the video, I very, very much appreciate you taking your time to listen to me about how to care for a dog that you're taking across the country. Now, these are just my opinions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other animal people that'll jump in the comments and be like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Yeah. I appreciate all the comments, but everybody does things differently in their life. Hi, I'm literally walking across the country. So, anyways, stay humble, Adventure family. Go live your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you you can't, because they wouldn't or couldn't. I believe in you.